I'm delighted and feel honoured to introduce Carmen Cureu, Market Research Director at Geopost, international parcel delivery network operating through different brands. We know DPD, Chronopost, obviously in France, CE in Spain, and BRT in Italy. So without further talk from me, I'll hand you over to our presenter. Now, I will ask you for questions during the next 30 minutes or so. So if you have a question on a topic, just raise your hand. I'll find you, and then I'll punctuate, and we can ask the question, okay? Right, over to you, Carmen.
Thank you so much. Very glad to be here with you today, and hopefully I will bring some insights to you that will help you stay awake after, the lunch break. So without further ado, an easy question. What makes a great delivery for e-shoppers and for SMEs? To have some answers to that, we look at a survey that we have been running for 7 years now at Geopost, the e-shopper barometer. Some of you may have heard about it. It's a study that we launched 7 years ago. Why? In order to understand what e-shoppers expect in terms of experience online when they purchase and in terms of delivery experience, to help us then adjust our services to their exact expectations. We interviewed more than 24,000 e-shoppers across 22 countries in Europe, 22 countries where we are present, as John mentioned, through DPD, through Seur, Chronopost, BRT, Speedy in Bulgaria, for instance. And we never mentioned to them any brand names. We are not talking about ourselves, our carriers. We are not talking about retailers. We just want to understand what motivates e-shoppers to go buy online and what they expect from us as carriers at the end of the process. So to start with, what is the mindset of e-shoppers all across Europe? What do they want? We have seen that over the past years, e-shoppers gained, let's say, maturity. They are now very used to e-commerce. And what they are looking constantly when they go online is convenience. They buy online because it's very easy, because it helps them gain time. It helps them also put on the side some money. At least that is what they think. It gives them ways to buy, let's say, less expensive than buying offline. So this convenience is something that is really key for them to have. And this is what motivates them to continue buying online, even in times when, let's say, the economical conditions are a bit tougher than what they used to be. I said that they are very mature and they have growing expectations. So convenience also comes with flexibility. E-shoppers expect to be able to change their minds very often throughout their experience. They expect, for instance, to be able to cancel one item of an order even after placing the order and maintaining all the others, let's say, alive. They want to be able to return. They want to be able to pay just after trying out the item and make sure that it fits. So flexibility all the way. And this flexibility really touches upon personalization. They want to have their own experience that is suited to their own expectations for every single item that they go to buy online. And this personalization is what e-shoppers expect and e-tailers offer more and more. And unsurprisingly, personalization is also the name of the game in terms of expectations, in terms of delivery. E-shoppers nowadays basically want to have lots of options on the table from which they can then pick and choose. It's not about the e-shoppers trying to fit with the experience that we propose as carriers. It's the other way around. As carriers, we need to adapt to their specific need and to their specific expectations that can differ from one moment to the other in their lives. So what do we need to bring on the table? Lots of things, everything. And as I said, then they can pick and choose and make their perfect delivery for a perfect purchase that they realize. I think we see two big scenarios because there is not such a thing as one size fits all in the world of delivery. First scenario, e-shoppers in Europe going for home delivery, but not any type of home delivery with added services upon it. First and at most, they want to know exactly where their parcel is at all times. So tracking, lifetime tracking is of extreme importance. This is the first expectation that they have. On top, they want to have predictability. I mean, if they have their parcel delivered to their house, they are there, of course, but not available 24 hours a day to get that parcel. So they want at least to know the exact slot of the delivery, and even more important, to be able to choose themselves the slot of the delivery. And because their lives change and because their agendas change as well, they also want to be able to then reschedule or redirect the parcel to a different place or to a different moment in time. This is the home delivery, but we have seen the rise of out-of-home delivery preferences on the part of European e-shoppers. They are looking more and more, because they are on the go, to getting their parcels in parcel shops or in parcel lockers. And the impact of this rise in terms of preference is visible, because now we have the second, let's say, expectation from e-shoppers going towards several delivery options. As e-tailers, e-shoppers expect them to come on the table with several delivery options. As I said, no such thing as a one-size-fits-all, so e-shoppers need to be able to choose home or out of home, depending on the thing that works best for them at a certain moment in time. Several delivery options, second highest expectations from e-shoppers nowadays regarding the delivery. On top, the rise of out-of-home solutions in terms of popularity is also coming with a different impact, which is, let's say, a higher expectation for next-day deliveries. Next day has been the norm for home deliveries for several years now all across Europe, but this is not yet the case for out-of-home deliveries, who tend to arrive, let's say, D+2, D+3. And e-shoppers are now saying it out loud and clear: we want our parcels to arrive next day, be it at the doorstep or in out-of-home points, either shops or lockers. Two big scenarios, as I said. Which one is the most popular? Obviously and unsurprisingly, still a high level of preference for home deliveries in Europe from European e-shoppers, but a downward trend, let's say, home deliveries losing a bit momentum year after year to the benefit of out-of-home solutions. Lockers and shops have this positive momentum. They are growing and expanding in terms of preference all across Europe. So much so that we now have more than 1 out of 2 European e-shoppers who use more than one delivery places. As I said, there is not just one perfect delivery. The perfect delivery is the one that is the most convenient for a specific purchase on the side of e-shoppers. But I've been mentioning 2 scenarios, but I think I'm a bit wrong. It's actually 22 scenarios, because when we look at Europe, at all the European countries that we look at, the bundle of the 3 top preferences in terms of delivery will be different every single time. Of course, the thing that I've just mentioned, the slight loss of momentum of home deliveries is visible all across Europe. And the rise of shops and lockers is also visible all across Europe, in Eastern and in Western Europe as well. But we do see, let's say, very local country specificities. In Anglo-Saxon countries, you do see that, for instance, in Ireland, in the UK, and in Germany, delivery in a safe place is a good trade-off when e-shoppers are not at home. I mean, if a German e-shopper will request from the carrier to have the parcel left on the doormat or under the doormat or next to the trash bin, that German e-shopper will trust that the parcel will still be there when he or she gets home. Somehow this is not happening in more Latin countries, and I will not delve into the reasons why right now. But clearly, safe place still an alternative in Anglo-Saxon countries. And because we are in the Netherlands, one thing regarding this specific country, again, a trade-off. Dutch e-shoppers still see their neighbor as a good trade-off when they are not at home. Again, something that is not happening in more Latin-blooded countries. In those countries, for sure, you have either a neighbor that you like or a neighbor that you dislike strongly, or anyways you dislike, so you don't want to take the chance to have your parcel delivered to that neighbor. But in the Netherlands, it seems that a neighbor is still just a neighbor and a good way to get your parcel if you are not at home. Yes.
I ask a question about this.
Of course.
This for me is fascinating. It's like a work of art. You could look at that for half an hour and still see little things. So, if I understand correctly,
yes.
If I take Hungary and I go to Parcel Locker,
yeah,
it's increased year on year.
Yes.
By 16 points to 50. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Right. Just so I understand the chart.
Yeah.
So you can see clearly Parcel Locker looks like the fastest growing in terms of more and more influence. Okay,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
You see, I'm a statistician, really. Right, but equally, this is interesting in terms of the at home, with the exception of the UK. They're all many countries are dropping slightly. So your comment at the beginning, where it was 75, 25, give or take. 5 years from now, potentially that could be 70-30 or 65-35.
It could be, for sure. I mean, the loss of momentum of home deliveries, it's not new. We've seen it for a few years now. And the same for the rise of parcel shops and parcel lockers. It's been an underlying trend for a few years now. I'm not able to say to what extent it will continue to go down for home deliveries. You know, the UK is a very nice country, a very special country, an exception to the rule, so to say. So if preference for home deliveries grows in the UK, who knows what may happen. But anyways, the figures that I showed on the previous slide are, let's say, a European average.
Sure. An
average is an average, and it hides multiple realities across countries, for sure.
This is a great slide. Great slide. Any questions at this point from the audience? Raise your hands. Yeah, there's one at the back there. I don't think we have a microphone. If you bear with me, I will come down and give you my microphone. There you go.
Yes, thank you very much. I just wanted to piggyback at also the points that was made regarding Parcel Locker. I know it's on an average basis, but I just wanted to know from obviously carrier perspective, how do you tackle Parcel Locker for it to grow to this point at the moment? Like, for example, in certain businesses, they have certain sizes, obviously. For example, fashions, you have shoes and everything. How do you manage like the locker sizes for these to basically improve the customer satisfaction on the carrier side? Thank you.
Yeah, basically, for sure, the lockers come with definitely challenges because of the various sizes. But all the lockers that we see in place right now have various sizes. So we are at a, let's say, more mature moment in time compared to the moments when lockers first appeared. So it's let's say fairly easy to accommodate. But I know that for sure most carriers will also have very strict limitations in terms of the dimensions of the parcels, because some parcels simply cannot go into lockers. And from a consumer point of view, there's also goods that you don't necessarily want to pick up in a locker. If you order, let's say, small home furniture, for sure you won't necessarily want to pick it up in a locker or in a parcel shop for that matter. That is a thing for which, let's say, home delivery still remains more convenient, again, from a consumer point of view. But yeah, I think the technology moves so fast that it's easier now to accommodate all those various sizes of parcels that we see coming into the networks. One last thing on delivery amongst e-shoppers. For sure, delivery is a key moment for them of the experience. And I would say happily, luckily, we live up to the expectations. 72% of e-shoppers all across Europe tell us that for them, the delivery experiences they've had over the past years were effortless. So good, a good momentum and something to continue to build on. Also, all these experiences that e-shoppers had with various carriers forged, let's say, convictions and preferences. And in our world, the preference is never expressed through something very positive. It's more expressed through, let's say, a rejection. People do not want to be delivered by carriers that they had negative experiences with. So much so that now they are saying more and more, 71% of them say that they want to know at the moment of checkout who will deliver their parcel, because if it's a carrier that they highly dislike or distrust, they can stop the purchase at that moment. So the experience is forging preferences clearly in the shoppers' world. But all of us, we are e-shoppers, but we are also, let's say, business professionals. And we have been, as I said, monitoring the preferences of e-shoppers regarding delivery for the past 7 years. And we've been seeing a tremendous increase of the expectations. So we just wanted to understand if, these rising expectations that we have as private individuals also have an impact on the way we react and act in a business environment. Therefore, we wanted to have a clear understanding of what businesses expect when they are delivered parcels. So we launched this year a new piece of research around SMEs. SMEs who receive parcels as part of their daily activities and operations. So it's the to-be part of the B2B. To understand if the expectations of businesses regarding delivery are different or, let's say, similar to what e-shoppers expect, and to understand if there is a big impact or not of, again, the rising expectations that we have as e-shoppers on our professional world. So we had conversations with more than 2,000 SMEs across 11 European countries. SMEs who were spread across various verticals. We had conversations with fashion SMEs, with healthcare SMEs, SMEs involved in high-tech, industry, automotive, etc., etc. Also, SMEs who are manufacturer of goods and others who are involved more in a retail business, to have a good representation of their expectations and needs. And the first insight we got is that for SMEs who receive parcels, part of their business daily activities, Delivery is essential. I mean, what do they receive in those parcels? It's either raw materials or supplies that are essential for their manufacturing afterwards, or goods that they will sell afterwards as retailers. So getting those goods in due time and in good condition is essential for their business. 86% of them at least say so. Unsurprisingly, when we ask them, so how do you choose your suppliers, the suppliers of the goods that you buy? Of course, first they say price, and then they say quality, which is fair enough. I mean, you want to know what it will cost you and the quality of the goods that you buy, because it's the basis of your activity. But once these two, let's say, business basics are out of the scope, the next thing that they say is we look at the carrier with which the supplier works. And if the supplier works with a trustworthy partner, with a trustworthy carrier, then we trust them and we go for it. So it's a big driver of choice. The carrier seems to function like a kind of a business card of the supplier towards their own customers. It can bring trust into the conversation and make people choose more. You will see on the coming slides some sentences in italics. It's not things that I wrote, it's things that the SMEs told us. It's verbatim that I picked and chose as good illustrations of the figures that we have on the slides. So, lots of stakes around delivery for SMEs. Do we live up to the expectations? The answer is yes. SMEs seem to be happy and very happy, more than 80% of them, with the deliveries that they get domestically, but also with the deliveries that they get cross-border. So when they source their supplies outside of their own country, they are still happy and very happy with the delivery. We saw that among e-shoppers, the experiences that e-shoppers have with the carriers have an impact on their choices. It's even stronger in the SME world because, of course, delivery is essential for their business. Therefore, 58% of the SMEs tell us that they definitely want to choose themselves the carrier who will move the parcels, because it's just fair for them to have a saying according to their preferences. What do they expect beyond choosing the carrier in terms of delivery? Well, it's again about business basics. E-shoppers want to have convenience. This convenience translates into efficiency when it comes to SMEs. Basically, they want to have their operations up and running in a smooth way. Therefore, they expect their parcels to be delivered undamaged. It's fair enough as a first expectation. And they expect, in case there's issues, quick and efficient solving of the problems. They fully appreciate that there might be issues of transportation, but the answer that we have to those issues is essential then in forging their preference or their rejection of a specific carrier. On top, they say that they want to be always delivered on time. And what does this mean? Be delivered on the moment we said we would deliver. So basically, announce an expectation and then keep up to that promise. Ability to track the parcels, of course, coming from the world of the e-shoppers. They want to know where their parcels are, for sure. And on top, they want to be able to interact with the carriers. This is a clear influence, let's say, coming from the private world into the business world. SMEs now want to be able to interact with the carriers through apps, not just web portals, the traditional web portals. They want to have the new technology available for them also as businesses. And of course, speed matters, more for specific SMEs in food and in healthcare, but it's also for sure of importance.
Can I just jump in and ask?
Of course.
Again, audience, if anybody's got a question, just raise your hand and we'll open it to the floor. But in the meantime, if I remember correctly, one of the features that e-shoppers are looking for is to select a day in the future and a time for the window of delivery. They want to maybe buy on a Saturday but not get it delivered till Thursday. Yeah. Is that the same with SMEs, or SMEs don't really want that? It's not so important for them?
It's not, let's say, of utmost importance. What they want first is for the carrier to commit. So will it be delivered in 2 days? Will it be delivered in 1 day, 3 days? First, let me know, commit to something, and then live up to that promise, because they will then organize their entire operations accordingly.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily about a tiny time slot, because in the SMEs world, in the companies world, there will be bigger windows of availability, when they get the parcels. But it's more about announcing the day and keeping that promise.
Okay, clear. Any questions in the audience? Can I ask the audience a question just so that I know you're all still awake? Can you raise your hands if you're a retailer? So we have probably about 20, I think. Okay. And those retailers who raise their hands, how many of you ship cross-border? Nearly all of you. Okay. How many of you use DPD? Oh, about half. That means half of them are potential customers, DPD. Okay, sorry for my interruption. Right, carry on.
Thank you. So SMEs expect... Oh, yeah, I think there is a question. No, okay. Just saw the hand going up.
I think he was just stretching.
So technology is clearly an expectation, but there is also, let's say, a human face that we can put on efficiency. SMEs clearly say that having a delivery person who knows where they are, how they operate, the opening hours, the exact door where they need to knock to deliver their parcels is of great importance to them, because again, it goes in the sense of the same kind of efficiency that they are expecting. So we're getting into a world of personalization that is also coming into the SMEs world, because having the same delivery driver day after day is very much into establishing a personal relationship. Delivery experience is positive, but there is always room for improvement. So what do SMEs expect from us as carriers as big improvement in the future? There's two things. Tracking. We saw that tracking is something that they definitely look at. It's important for them. And this is one point where they expect us to, let's say, step up the game in terms of interfaces. Just tracking, a big number of parcels by using the individual parcel number is something of the past. They want to have access to digital interfaces where at one click they can see where every single parcel is in real time. So digital again at the heart of the expectations, but digital cannot replace the human touch. Customer service, when things go wrong, and they can go wrong and everyone understands that, they expect to have the human connection at the end of the line to get the problems solved. So the future is all about human and digital, each at its exact place in the value chain. Interestingly, when SMEs talk to us about the delivery, it's all, let's say, very rational, it's process-driven, it's operations, etc., etc. But when we talk about customer service, all of a sudden, they bring into the discussion more emotional words. They don't just say, we want an efficient customer service from you carriers. They say that we want a caring customer service. We want empathy. because this is where we are in trouble and we need your help. So customer service, human touch, empathy, emotions are also expected by SMEs. And it may seem surprising in a business world, but it's a reality that they describe and that they voice out fairly strongly. So what do we do as Geopost to answer those needs? We are listening to e-shoppers, their expectations, to SMEs and their expectations, in order to make sure, as I said at the beginning, that our value proposition and our strategy are in the right direction, on the right track, according to what is expected by customers in the marketplace. So to answer all those needs that seem to converge from SMEs, so businesses, and from private individuals, from e-shoppers, our strategy is structured in 3 pillars. Common sustainability roadmap. Haven't touched a lot upon that during the presentation, but sustainability is a prerequisite from both e-shoppers and businesses, also shippers. I probably think that you know it better than me, all of you here in the room. What does this mean for us? We have very ambitious roadmap, net zero, and our ambition was approved by an external body, SBTi, net zero by 2040. We have very strong ambitions in terms of the low emission fleets in the major cities of Europe, and we empower, or at least we want to help empowering our own customers, so our dear shippers, in monitoring and reducing their carbon emissions through a carbon calculator that you may have heard about or even use, those of you who use DPD in the room. Technology. Digital has all its place in the e-shopper and business world. Technology must be there to facilitate everything that can be facilitated. So the tracking of the parcels, the direct interaction between the shipper, not necessarily the shipper, the carrier, and the consignee, the private individual who receives a parcel or the business who receives a parcel. They want to act themselves to tailor the delivery to their needs and, let's say, challenges of the moment, redirecting a parcel, changing the time slot. All of this can be done through MyDPD or MyDPD for business. Choice and convenience. We've seen that everyone wants to have everything and then pick and choose. Day definite value proposition, clearly there to answer the needs of the SMEs for precision and efficiency. We commit to a specific date for the delivery, and then we do our best to keep up to that promise. Home delivery, out of home delivery, also on the table for both private individuals and SMEs, because again, there's no such thing as one size fits all. Everyone wants to choose. We have home deliveries in all countries we operate, parcel shops in the countries where parcel shops are favored, parcel lockers coming up in all countries where the preference for parcel lockers is growing, to be able to be where e-shoppers and businesses expect us to be. Hopefully, these slides were insightful for you. The results, especially on the SME side, are just fresh out of the bakery. So there will be more. So do follow us on our channels. We will communicate more also on country-specific details. If you have any questions or any interest in a particular country, in a particular zone, etc., don't hesitate to reach out to us also on our stand later on.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your presentation. We're going to throw it open to some questions.
Yep.
Give me 1 second and I'll come to you. So if you have a question, raise your hand and I'll involve you in the scheme. Well done. Really interesting presentation. Lots of good points there. I just noticed you've got Geopost trainers.
Yes.
That's amazing. Who else wants Geopost trainers? The best question, you get to win these trainers. Okay? Right. So you have a question.
Yes. Thanks first for the sharing of the trends. I am working for IKEA. As a retailer, I have a question related to the cost that the customer are willing to pay for services. Mm-hmm. Because you share a lot of good insight, but nothing specifically about the cost. And especially would like to see if you see any trend the last years moving from this free delivery to a more, different approach.
Well, to start with, for us as carriers, there is no such thing as free delivery. It's a service that we produce. There's people involved in it. So for us, delivery comes at a cost. It's then all in the hands of, let's say, the suppliers and the e-tailers to bring that pricing into the final scheme. Of course, when we ask e-shoppers, when we ask SMEs what they think about the price that they are willing to pay for the delivery, for sure, the lower it is, the better it is for them. I mean, if you ask me how much I'm willing to pay for, I don't know, a pot of yogurt, the lower the price, the better it is. And everyone will tend to say that. But what we are seeing is also, let's say, from e-shoppers and from companies, a very strong need for social responsibility. SMEs, it was not presented on the slides, but SMEs say that social responsibility is something that is driving their choices of suppliers and of carriers. And social responsibility goes with, let's say, fair salaries and fair treatment for all the subcos and all the people involved in the value chain. So, of course, when we ask the first question about price, it will be get it the lowest possible level. But then there's also a growing, let's say, consciousness of everything that is involved, and social responsibility comes as a very important part of the game. I'm sure, it doesn't necessarily answer exactly your question, but it's also, let's say, part of the game to see how the bundle of services can be managed and the mix that e-shoppers are ready to go for a specific price that they pay, for sure.
Okay, that was a good question. At the moment, the trainers are yours. Although I don't think they'll fit, to be honest.
Yeah, hope you don't wear more than 36.
Yeah. Okay, do we have any other questions from the floor for the moment? No? On the subject of price, because I think this is, obviously, it's a very emotional subject. And if we go back, many years, there was this, and you made the point actually in your response quite subtly, that of course distribution is never free. Even if it's not charged on the website, somebody has to pay for it, and whether it's hidden in the basket value or in the margin of the product or whatever. So, are you seeing more and more retailers posting a proper price for distribution at the checkout, or is it tend to be subsidized by the basket, or is it a proper realistic price?
Well, I wouldn't make on my end any comment about, is it the proper price or not. It's up to e-tailers to decide which is the proper price that they need to apply, taking into account all of the things in the puzzle. We are clearly seeing a big trend already on returns. Because the returns used to be at the discretion of e-shoppers. You want to return your parcel, you do it, and you don't need to pay anything. It comes for free for you as an e-shopper. And e-tailers tried to change the game on that one, introducing more and more a price to pay for the return, or other, let's say, other parts or other things in the scheme of the returns, in order to make e-shoppers realize it also comes at a cost. And what we've been seeing is that indeed returns have not been growing. 2023 was the first year ever in our e-shopper barometer where returns were stable compared to the previous years. So a sign that e-shoppers are also reacting to the policies in place. But on the other hand, let's say there was no decrease of purchases because returns started to come at a certain cost. So e-shoppers, I think, are also making their peace with the fact that sometimes, if they want a service, they need to pay for it. It's real life, even if it all starts digital. Regarding the actual cost or price that they pay for the delivery, then we are still in a very diverse world. The bigger the e-tailers, the more present you will have the loyalty schemes that come with, let's say, reduction of the costs or zero costs for the end consumer for a certain basket. The smaller the retailer, the more difficult it will be to put in place such loyalty schemes.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions yet from the audience? No. Oh, there's one again there.
Hi, thank you.
If you say who you are, what your company is, that would be great.
My name is Reno. I work at the fashion retail, so I'm focusing on B2C shipment delivery. It was a great slide. Thank you very much. Really nice insight. As a B2C coordinator who coordinates the shipment, we encounters a lot of complaints from the customer regarding some scans not being made for the delivery due to the driver. And as you mentioned in the slides, driver are also a critical part in order to fulfill customer needs. So how, as a carrier, do you maintain this going forward? Thank you.
Well, definitely, this is where we get into the very processed part of the story. Of course, on our end, as Geopost, in all our business units, there's clear, let's say, trainings that are made to the drivers, very clear processes that need to be respected. They are in place, they are monitored. Of course, it happens, you know, that sometime one driver will not scan a parcel. In some parts of the world, it happens more often than in others, because there's also, you know, a certain mindset, etc., etc. But we strive as much as possible to monitor that on a regular basis. We have, as I said, trainings in place. We also listen to the voice of the end consumer. We have NPS surveys that are being sent out to most of our end consignees, except for those ones who we cannot address because of an e-tailer decision to address them directly. And through those NPS surveys that we send out, we manage also to identify, let's say, zones or depots or drivers who probably are not up to the expectations, and address those issues on a very immediate basis. Basically, we get the feedbacks and they are rolled out to the operations and to the depot managers almost in real time. So a parcel is delivered today. Next day, the depot manager will know if the experience was positive or not. So we do put the customer experience at the heart of everything that we do. We know that a happy end consumer is also a happy shipper. So this is what matters for us, to have, let's say, smiling faces, not just for the delivery drivers that we showcase in the pictures, but also on the side of the consumers and the shippers.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Carmen, and thank you, DPD, for sharing this information. If people want to get hold of the insight that you shared, can they come and visit you in the stand?
Yes, of course, with pleasure. They are meant for being shared, so don't hesitate.
Okay, thank you. And if you've got any more questions later on, you can see the guys at Geopost on their stand. So thank you very much, Carmen.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience.
A pleasure.